Hello, world. This is your host, Louise Hicks of Aim to Purpose Spiritual Empowerment Hour. I am, I was really almost at a loss for words when I saw this heartfelt tragedy in Chicago because it brought back memories of when my daughter was attacked by a bunch of Black girls. And this was in college in Long Beach, California, several years ago. And this story just brought back those heartfelt, heartbreaking memories. And I want to share this with you and shed some light on some solutions and why this is happening, where these elementary school kids attacked this woman who is said to be pregnant and walking her son home from school because of bullies. So let's go ahead and share the story. And I'm going to come back with my thoughts on this because it's just outrageous that this would happen. And please share, leave your thoughts, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, and let's go ahead and listen to what happened to this woman and her son. And I understand that her daughter was there as well when this all happened. So let's go ahead and share it because this was a tragedy that should never have happened.
Dozens of people came out to support a Southside mom and her son after a video of them being attacked went viral.
That's crazy. Kids is fighting adults. Where's the parents at? Why are they being accountable for it?
Video shared tens of thousands of times on Facebook shows the attack. You can see the woman being punched and eventually falling to the ground, where the assault turns even more violent. We've frozen the video here because it's too graphic after this point. We also blurred the faces of the people involved because they're minors and no charges have been filed. The woman's family was among those at Bright Elementary School. They allege the woman's son has been bullied for 2 years. And yesterday, as the woman walked her kids home from school, the teens turned on the mom.
It's an outrage, and I just feel like we got to do better as parents, maybe a community, maybe as the school, and this could have been prevented if the school would have helped out more, the principal would have stepped up.
Justice still need to be done. Something need to be done to the kids that jumped on them, some type of justice.
Chicago police confirm a woman and boy were seriously injured by a group of offenders yesterday afternoon and taken to Trinity Hospital for treatment. Some parents at the school didn't want to be on camera, but affirm a group of young people have been bullying the boy and others.
That's disgusting. I don't got no words for it. My heart was hurting for her.
In a statement, a CPS spokesperson says, in part, we are horrified by the attack on this family, and we are working collaboratively with city departments and agencies to provide support to the victims of this attack. That is the latest from the South Side. Leah Hope, ABC 7 Eyewitness News. Okay. Today, dozens of people came out to.
Let's stop and let's talk about this. Let's analyze what is happening here based on what I saw, which was horrifying to see something so horrific that this woman who was said to be pregnant and these are kids in elementary school. This is what's so sad about it. And again, I'm Louise Hicks, your host of this podcast, Aim to Purpose Spiritual Empowerment Hour. Please share, please like, thumbs up, leave your comments because they are saying this has been going on for 2 years or over 2 years. And these kids, the same kids, have been terrorizing other kids. And now they are attacking adults. And all of a sudden, since this goes viral, what happened during these 2 years or over 2 years? That would be my concern. since they said this has been going on all that time and nothing has been done. And now all of a sudden, everybody is saying, oh, something needs to be done. What is the administration doing? Why hasn't something been done prior? That's my concern and what my thoughts would be, because something like this that has gone on this long, what's wrong with this administration? What's wrong with the politicians in Chicago that this is still going on? And then you wonder why President Trump is saying he's going to send in the National Guard in Chicago and some of these other cities. But look what is happening here, and nothing has been done about it in all this time. It really makes you wonder why, and why are we electing these people that do nothing? Kids aren't even safe to go to school anymore. And it's a disgrace. We're focusing on other interests, providing money to other countries, building a big ballroom in Washington, D.C., on the Capitol, and all of these problems. Where are these parents? And I heard the young lady said parents accountability, and I agree with that. However, let me say this. I am 74 years of age. I've been in school, grade school, junior high school. However, something like this, I didn't see anything so outrageous as a kid growing up. And I'm going to tell you what my thoughts are on it. A lot of this has to do with the system taking rights away from the parents. Because when we were children coming up, any parent in the neighborhood could discipline you and take you home. And believe me, you got another discipline. And normally you got a whipping, no abuse now, but a whipping, and you got punishment. Nowadays, kids will tell you to your face, I'll call the police on you, I'll call protective services on you. And these parents now, they have no accountability. These parents that allowed this need to be investigated. They need to be punished along with their children, because this is the only solution. The only way this stuff is going to stop. We're going to have to make these parents accountable for not raising their kids to be kids. These are little terrorists, and that's what I'm going to call them, little terrorists. And if you've been doing this for over 2 years, there's something going on in the home with the parents. They're not raising their kids. You know your children are little terrorists. So why are you allowing this? And let me share something else with you. Parents went on social media. Allegedly, this was a parent by the name of Yaz St. Patrick, who posted on social media with a lot of cursing in it, saying that she doesn't owe any apology. No, she got a lot of some of that she's twisted. You need to be investigated and go to serve some time because you committed a crime not by not raising a decent child, and has the audacity to go on social media and speak. And they've already removed her social media. I don't know whether she moved it, but she was on here claiming that her daughter was an AB student, a cheer captain, a great kid. How can you say that your child is a great kid? I don't care what kind of grades she's making. If you're involved in this type of terrorism of other kids and attacking an adult who is said to be pregnant, what kind of child are you raising? And this has been going on for 2 years. Where is some kind of accountability from not just the parents, but from the administration of the school, from the mayor of Chicago, from the school district, from the governor of the state, because that's your leadership. And this is nothing new in Chicago. I know people that live in Chicago, and I've been told about some of the issues, and I've been to Chicago before. There are a lot of problems there, and behavior problems, and something has to be done. Just talk about it now that it's gone viral and you've done nothing about it in over 2 years. Of course, somebody had to know about it. They're saying it's been going on for over 2 years and nobody has done anything. And this woman, who is reported to be Yaz St. Patrick, doesn't show any remorse. And I can't read everything she said because it's been taken down. But she was cursing and just talking a bunch of food talk, as my grandmother would call it, food talk, saying that all of us have been, I'll say a little bit of it because I did see it, but it's taken down now. She was saying something about all of us have been 12 or 13 years old at one time, and kids will be kids. These are not kids. These are little terrorist monsters. And yes, I said it because a kid that has been disciplined, trained in the home to be a decent human being, treat people with dignity, respect, especially adults. When we were kids, if you did something like this, and so Lady St. Patrick, whatever your name is, you need help. And your children, you guys need to be locked up and get some therapy on how to be a decent human being. And this really makes me angry because it brings back the memories of when some little Black girls attacked my daughter outside the campus of Long Beach City College. And these were teenagers. My daughter was 18 or 19, and I called the police. However, these little terrorists had the audacity to have, uh, what do you call those things? Little masks that you pull over your face. And they attacked my daughter. And she had done nothing to them but go to school, dress decent, act decent, because that's how I raised her. However, they were jealous, obviously, and couldn't stand to see somebody that didn't act thuggish like them. And I did call the police. However, they couldn't identify them, and my daughter could not identify them either at the time. She said she heard the voices as they were beating her. And it was 5 or 6 of them attacked her outside of the school on the street when it was almost dark, and the only time you could see anything as cars came. But she was able to get away from them. They stopped because cars were coming and they ran. And she said she had some idea who it may have been, but she still couldn't identify them. So the police couldn't do anything because they had nothing to go on. But this stuff happens all over. It's not just in Chicago. As I stated, this was in Long Beach, California. And it goes on more frequently than you think. So, Black parents, let me talk to you. These inappropriate behaviors need to cease. They need to stop. You need to take control of your children. And I am saying it out loud. You and your children need to be locked up. You need to be punished for what you did to this poor woman and her son. And it's been going on all this time. This is a disgrace. And I'm here to tell you it's a disgrace. And it really makes me upset because I know what happened to my daughter and how she was terrorized by some little Black thuggish kids that had no home training, because if they did, you would not be out here doing this type of and engaging in this type of behavior. And then the parent has the audacity to say that she has a great kid. Obviously, you don't know what great is, and you're not a great parent, because if you were, your child wouldn't be behaving like this. And if they did for over 2 years, you would have put a stop to this. Look at this poor woman. Both were hospitalized. You all, parents, you are a disgrace. Your children are a disgrace. And all of you need to be locked up. You need some therapy. And I'm telling you, because I have a background in social work, I have a bachelor's degree in social work. This type of behavior needs healing, and it starts in the home from infancy up. And obviously, these parents have problems because they did not raise these children from infancy up. Because if they did, they would not be exhibiting this type of behavior. And if I had only known the kids that had done that to my daughter, she came home bruised up, and only because it was getting dark and the cars had started coming, the lights were shining on them, that they ran. But they had their faces pulled over with those pull over, whatever you call them, where your eyes, you can see your eyes. But she couldn't tell who they were, and she wasn't able to identify them. So parents, and this woman shows no guilt, no remorse, no shame. And I am just, I'm outraged over this, because I know how this parent must feel. My daughter wasn't hospitalized, but she was all bruised up. And these were teenagers. They weren't, this is even worse here, because these kids are in grade school. And this woman has the audacity to say, well, all of you have been 12 and 13 years old. However, when we were kids growing up, no, we did not act like this. Because if you did, you would be punished. Because any parents could chastise you where I grew up when I was a kid in the 50s and 60s. And a lot of this stuff, like I said, has to do, we got to bring, it's not just all the parents. When you start taking rights away from the parents, like look at what's that basketball player's name? That they took the rights and given it to your children so they can do sex changes at whatever age, 12 or 13, when they don't even know how to be a child. And the states are taking over your children's rights. I mean, your parents' rights. So we have to look at this from a more realistic perspective. And we need to let the parents be parents. And if they're not being parents over these children, because they're out of control and the parents are out of control, you need to make them go and serve some time and get some healing by a qualified, bona fide therapist who can help the parent and the child. Because this is serious. These people could have been killed. Look at this woman and that poor child being terrorized, and other children too. And these parents out here, like this woman, whoever she is, talking about her child is a great kid. No, she's not a great kid, and you're not a great mom. You're a terrible mom. And you need to stop and think about what you said, all the cussing you did, talking about other people, and how you oh, it's just disgusting to me, because it brings back so many memories of when my child was abused like that by some little thuggish black girls. And we have to call it out. We have to start calling these terrorist acts by these kids and adults and make them serve time and get therapy. Because if you just serve the time and you're not getting therapy and you get out with the same behavior, that's not helping you. There are some deep rooted issues here. And I just wanted to share that and give my thoughts. And we have to do better. And the system needs to allow parents to discipline their children, because this is a major problem. It's major and it's serious. So with that said, again, I'm Louise Hicks, your host of this podcast, Aim to Purpose Spiritual Empowerment Hour. And I just had to come in and share my thoughts because this makes me angry to see what is happening here. It just makes me angry. And I'm going to close, and please, by all means, share this video. We need to hold the politicians accountable for not allowing parents to be parents. We need to hold parents like this accountable and send them to prison along with their children and get healing for them. You don't just send them and do nothing, because this has gone on, and it tells me that the system did not do their job, because if they did, it would not have gone on for 2 years. These children would have been taken away from the parents. And this is a time, I don't advocate uh, children just taken away, but this situation here, an investigation would have proven that these children and the parents need help for terrorizing other students and adults. So with that said, again, I'm Louise Hicks. Share, subscribe, leave your comments, thumbs up, give it a like, because more people need to see this so that these people can get help and they can serve time for their abuse of their children, because you are an abusive parent. When you have children running around doing stuff like this, that means you are an abusive parent. And I always tell you, you need to get more spiritual. And 2 Timothy 1:7, I always like to quote that. For God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. And these children are not given any love, because if they were, they would be loving. They wouldn't be terrorists, because that's what I call them. And with that said, always remember, your power lies within you. Let it loose, because your destiny is your command. So it's up to you to create a positive destiny for your children so they don't end up dead or in prison. Because if at the rate they're going, a lot of these little kids running around here and parents like this, your children will end up dead, maimed, or in prison. And that's what it's going to amount to. So again, Louise Hicks here. Thank you to all of my supporters. Please continue to subscribe, share, like, thumbs up. Please leave your comments. And if you've had some experiences like this, let us know and give some solutions. That's what we need. All this talk is doing nothing. And we need to make the parents accountable again. I can't say that enough. And these political leaders accountable, because this should not have gone on for 2 years. So that tells a lot. It tells the story. So for now, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Much love.